What is going on, everybody? Hope you had a fantastic weekend wherever you are at. Got a game of Domination for you today here on Crack, playing a little Black Ops. Haven't done that in a while, and I thought I would bring you a little gameplay with probably one of the best sniper rifles in the game. I know it's not a sniper rifle, but you can pretty much treat this weapon just like a sniper rifle. The M16 with an ACOG attached to it is dead steady, and if you are on a strong 4-bar connection, this thing, you can one-shot somebody with it if you hit them in the upper chest or the head. It is pretty beast, and right here I'm not doing very well with it. Takes me a few shots. I don't know what my connection was this game, but trust me, take my word for it, if you are on a really strong connection, this weapon is amazing with the ACOG on it. And I'm using it with the lovely gold finish. This was probably about the 4th or 5th weapon that I put gold camo on. I'm really not sure how many I have gold weapon now. I probably should do a series of videos where I try to play with every gold weapon I have now. And I guess we'll go ahead and mark this one down as the M16 video, I guess. Go ahead and get that one out of the way. But I was watching something this weekend, and a story caught my eye, and I checked it out here on the internet. And I found it very interesting, and I thought it would be a really good subject to kind of talk about in a video today. A while back, I talked about it more on Twitter than I did anywhere else. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, you probably should, because I talk about all kinds of random things sometimes. And it was back in February, I believe it was, I talked about possibly getting an iPhone. I'm a Verizon customer, and the iPhone had just come to Verizon, or was about to. And I was thinking about getting one. And as with most things, I tend to talk myself out of purchases like that. And I talked myself out of this purchase. I decided not to go with an iPhone and just stick with the phone I had. You know, I've got kids that are on my cell phone plan, and the cost for the package that I would have had to have gone to on a monthly scale, I just could not justify it. Even though I run my cell phone plan through my business, and it's basically a business write-off, and the business pays for it, I could not justify spending the extra money that will be required to have a plan that would handle the iPhone. I was already on a data plan, but I changed some things around, put my kids on that, and it just wouldn't have worked out. So I talked myself out of the iPhone. And with the story I heard this past weekend, it was probably a good thing. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the movie 1984, but the premise of it is that Big Brother is watching us. And when I say Big Brother, it essentially means our government. And there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that really believe that our government constantly monitors everything we do, and it's just getting progressively worse and worse. And there are things about that I tend to agree with, some that I don't. But one story I heard about this past weekend dealt with the iPhone and the Android phone. And it seems that Apple and Google have both been gathering information from these cell phones. And they really should have seen this coming. It seems that the iPhone and the Android phones are tracking you. Through the GPS-enabled systems in the phones, they are able to get a latitude and longitude lock on you wherever you are. And periodically throughout the day, it takes this information. Like, let's say, like Saturday, here's what we did. We got up, we went by a friend's house for a moment, then we went and got some lunch, then we stopped by Blockbuster, then we went to the grocery store, then we came home. And let's say I had an iPhone. We'll just use the iPhone as an example here. It tracked our movement from that first house to where we ate lunch, to the video store, to the grocery store, and home. It tracked our movement through the GPS in the phone. And then at some point during the day, after the phone has collected this information, it sends this information into Apple. And what do they do with this information? That is what is being discussed right now. I believe a senator from Minnesota and a representative from, I believe it's Massachusetts, I'm not sure, are both starting investigations to see why these companies are tracking our information. Now, that keep in mind, I don't own either one of these phones, so they're not necessarily tracking me, and I really have no reason to worry about it. But if you are an owner of one of these phones, that should raise some concerns with you. Number one, is it violating a right that you have to privacy? These companies, it's none of their business where you go. But if their phone is tracking you and sending this data into them, that's more or less an invasion of your privacy. That is none of Apple's business if you go by Blockbuster, and rent a video. It's none of their business how long you stay at your home. That's essentially what this phone is doing. It is sending this in through either a Wi-Fi connection or maybe it's just a cell phone type of data plan upload. I don't know the specifics behind it, but it really causes me to have a little bit of concern as to why these companies are doing something like that. And number one, if you are an owner of an iPhone or an Android, you need to first of all check with your local provider and see if this is active on your phone and what your options are to disable it. Because personally, I don't believe I would want somebody constantly tracking me. That's just me. You may not care, you may not think there's anything to this, and it's probably not. It's probably something marketing related. They probably use this information to develop some type of marketing plan for their customers, but you never know when there is a sinister plot behind it as well. So that's just something you may want to consider and investigate if you are an iPhone or Android owner. You may want to do a little more research and do some search online and see what you can come up with, what kind of information there is. But I found that story extremely interesting, and it's definitely something you may want to investigate. Kind of curious, how many of you guys own an iPhone or an Android? Leave a comment below if you own one of these phones and let me know what you think. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing that they are tracking users of these phones? I don't own a smartphone right now. I own a pretty basic phone. It's an LG Envy Touch. It's a nice phone and it gets the job done, and it's nothing that I don't think the government or any company can track me with, I don't think. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of that story that I relayed to you. The only other thing I wanted to be sure to tell you while I'm thinking of it, a video of mine went up this past weekend on Machinima Respawn. It is a game of Black Ops Domination on WMD, and I talk a bit more about Modern Warfare 3. And it's a pretty interesting subject. It's pro things. We have pro versions of perks now in the Call of Duty series. The last two versions of the game have had pro perks. What if we applied that pro to other things, like let's say Killstreaks, pro Killstreaks, where you had a little something different to add to the killstreak once you have acquired a certain amount of kills with it, or even other things like attachments, like this silencer I have on this weapon that I picked up. Generally, a silencer will knock down the performance of the weapon, usually by range. What if the pro version of the silencer did not decrease the range? Something like that, after you achieved a certain number of kills with it. Be sure to click the video, check it out, and as always, I appreciate your support in all of my Machinima Respawn videos. Thanks so much for clicking the link. It helps out a bunch. But that's going to pretty much do it for this game. We're kind of winding down. The only other thing I wanted to tell you about, I've got the Portal 2 series that I'm doing with my son right now. Going to try to get those done and accomplished as quick as possible. I don't know exactly how far we are into it. I've got about maybe 7 episodes recorded so far, and I think I'm on upload number 4 at this point, so I'm going to try to finish getting those out. I appreciate you guys watching them. It's a lot of fun to play with my son and play through that. It's a blast, and I totally recommend it. If you would like to check out the Machinima Respawn video, just click the link here in the annotation on the screen or down below in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And be sure to wrap those iPhones in tinfoil. Alright, later guys.